So when we were on site, we looked at measuring the base of these brick columns, which were 700, and then the internals were 600. So after that, I'm referring back to a photo that I took here, which is such a great, you know, when you go to site, if you feel like you've taken enough photographs, just take some more, because there's so many things that are represented in here. So obviously you can count the bricks now, which gives you your height, because we measured one of the bricks when we were there. And then this, you can start to build up a story from. So I've just started inking in some of these archways, and it's a really nice way to understand the workmanship in here. Because you need to remember that this was never built for human inhabitants. So it's unusually decorative and pretty in modern day standards for such a utilitarian asset. And this is evident in things such as this brickwork, where all the bricks are handmade and then laid into archways and vaulted ceilings. The columns made from hardwood tree trunks would have been cut originally with a broad axe, and to create the lovely shape that they are, that kind of octagonal column. It's also, so here you've got you've got your archways, your vaulted ceiling, and this is the column I'm speaking about. So it's obvious that you had a lot of manual labour to create this space. So I'm just doing each brick because, unlike an elevation at a smaller scale where you're getting a line perhaps of that archway, here where we're doing a detailed elevation, which is what this is you will actually start to see those bricks as single bricks, and then as we come along you'll get to see, and we'll take a finer pen, you can start to put in the grout line like that. So you're joining it, but you're not getting a straight line, which of course you're not there. They're a really lovely rough texture to the outline of these pillars. As with modelling, this gives you a real appreciation for the build of this part, when you have to lay each brick individually yourself. We can start to look at some of the more contemporary rhythms in this park. So this is the concrete pavers. So there's one length that's been used throughout that paving section, and it's also applied to the stair treads. And although the pavers may have a flat base, we'll look at the stair treads in a minute. So talking about how it was an easy plan with the grid, it also is with these more kind of detailed sections as well, which, because of the scale of the 1 to 100 of the plan, we didn't really draw on all of these pavers, but because you now know what the overall dimensions of them are, you could easily go to your photographs and work out exactly how this sat in the space. If you did want to enlarge a detail of a section or understand how something is going to sit within that space, or if you needed something to align with these. So over to the left here, this is a section of the stair tread which comes down to this lovely peak at its base. And with something at this scale, which is 1 to 5, it adds some hatching to it. Because it's concrete, you give it some aggravate in there. And once again, you might come along and just pop those outside lines. Here we have a perspective, which is a way of drawing an object, taking into account its width, its height and depth, but looking at it through a realistic vision. So it's going backwards to an endpoint. This, on the other hand, is an axonometric, which means that your lines are running perpendicular to the object, which creates a perfect rotated view. So it looks slightly odd to the eye, but mathematically it's correct. The other detail that I chose to look at in this park are the different types of footings to the different types of columns. There's the one that we've explored quite a bit, which is the brick one. So this is this one. Nice, solid footing. Strong and broad, holding up all that brickwork above. And it's interesting to look at different types of construction, as it also holds the vaulted garden bed, which so do the hardwood timber beams, so both strong materials. So that's that one. And then you've got the ones in the pond, which disappear into a watery void, alluding to the depth, the original depth below, giving you that nice sense that this was once all filled with water. You can give that metal plate a bit of thickness here. And this is what I was talking about before with these columns being carved with a broad axe, which gives these lovely sides to them. But this one is my favourite because it leaves something up to the imagination. So this is one of the timber columns like this one also, but you can't see the base of it because, like a tree reborn, which is what that originally was, a tree trunk, it now sprouts from this lovely tangle of lacy vines. Once again, you can give this a bit of pictorial license.